In this first video about materials, I'm going to talk about pencils and the pencils I use and why I use them. There are obviously lots of other brands available, and I'll cover some of those brands or mention them at least, but this is what I use and I find them good enough. So if I was only going to buy one type of pencil, if I was on a limited budget or I didn't have that much interest in using graphite as tonal drawings, I would buy Faber-Castell 9000 wooden pencils, and I'd buy them individually rather than a set and just buy the ones that I wanted. So I usually start with a 6H, which is a hard grade, 4H, 2H, HF, HB, B, 2B, 4B and 6B. That would be enough pencils for me, or thereabouts, those type of grades. So not skipping too many different grades, but starting with a 6H. And these hard grades are super important in tonal drawing. Now you can draw with this pencil and you can do tonal work with it. You can sharpen it to the same extent as any other type of pencil to a fine point, or you can have it slightly more blunt if you need it. So it's a very versatile pencil. It's not expensive and it does the job for everything you need. There are other brands available. There's like Mitsubishi Hayuni, there's Graphwood by Caran d'Ache, there's Staedtler, Mars Lumographs, all good pencils. It's slightly different in the softness and hardness. No two types of pencil, brands of pencil are the same. Ones that I wouldn't use are, for botanical work anyway, are Derwent, Graphic and Tombow. Not good pencils for tonal work in my opinion. They break too easily and they're too soft and grainy. Now the reason you need those hard grades is to get a base down. I'll show you some artwork very briefly. So this is one that I have on my website. It's very smooth and silky in the finish, but there's a limitation to how dark you can go with graphite, and that's about it really, using up to maybe a 2 or 3B grade pencil there from a 6H for the fine layer. So most of the work is done with the hard grades. Most of the work is done with 6H, 4H, 2H in this foundation to get this very smooth finish. This one is a little darker, as you can see. It's a slightly different finish to it, and it's different because it's got a different texture, and you need to create different textures with your graphite as well. But the smooth base that you need is required for everything, and that's why you must get that base down with hard grades first. Now the reason for this, and it's not often talked about, is the size of the particles in the pencil. And so in your surface of your paper, it's got tiny indentations. If you looked under a microscope at it, it's got these tiny little bumps, indents. Now the graphite pencils, all of them, all graphite, is made of graphite particles and clay particles, and the harder pencils have more clay and the softer pencils have more graphite. I've got a 7B. A 7B and a 2H there. So this is going to have a lot more graphite, and you'll find that when you sharpen, it's more difficult to sharpen a point on a soft pencil than it is on a hard pencil. Although this is more likely to snap, this is harder to get, this long point, and it wears down more quickly, and that's because the graphite is softer than the clay. Now the small clay particles go into the surface of that paper and create that smooth finish. You can't do that because the particles in the graphite and the soft pencils is too big. So it skips across the surface and makes a grainy effect. If you've ever done graphite and thought, oh, it looks all grainy, it's not smooth and even like that, it's because the pencil is too soft for the surface. It's going to be harder to work it into that surface. So although the first layers with the hard grades is a little bit more laborious to do, it's essential if you're going to get the smooth finish that you want. If you're getting that grainy finish, you're not using the right pencils and you're not putting enough work in. If you then try and apply too much pressure to these softer grades, it's going to become shiny, and that's the other problem with the softer grades in graphite. They tend to become shiny on the surface of the paper, and then they resist further layers of graphite and you can't go darker. So this one was all done with the Faber-Castell 9000s. This one was done with the Faber-Castell 9000s, create a base in the same way as this, and then I used, another Faber-Castell pencil, and that is this one, the Pitt Graphite Matte, and that is a pencil that's very dark. It goes up to a 14B, That's a 10B there, but it goes up to a 14B, this one, which is very black. And that'll give you these much darker tonal values that you might need in certain subjects here, or where you want more drama, and it'll give you that darkness without giving you the shine. The Mars Lumograph range do a black as well. I haven't actually used them or tried them. They are a bit different, I think, but it's the same idea anyway. You know, there's a set of those that you can buy as well for these blacks. So that's the difference between the types of wooden pencil and the ones that I use. Alternative to the wooden pencil is the clutch pencil. And here's a set of those, and you get them from a 4H to a 2B in that 2mm lead. So that's the 2mm lead that comes separate. So this has a mechanism that releases this. You pop this lead in, and you can have it at whatever length you want. You can have it sort of longer or shorter. You can sharpen it to this very fine point again. It's marked. They've all marked. If you buy them individually, you can buy them with different settings. So that's a 4H, I think. I can't see. Yeah, 4H. Very simple. 9,400. TK 9,400 is the simple shape. They also do the one with the clip there, but these ones are fine. These are only, they're inexpensive really. They're probably about £6 to £8, I think, and they're marked, so you know what lead you've got in them. And then you buy all the leads separately, and you've got lots of leads in there. You've got 10 2mm leads in there, so that'll keep you going for a long time. They do require different sharpening. You need a tub sharpener. That's a Steadler one. Which you pop the lead into this hole here. I'm not talking about sharpening really, but I'm just telling you that if you are going to use these, you extend it in there, put it down to the thing, pop it in there and rotate it to sharpen it in a tub sharpener. So that's a slightly different approach to sharpening. Some people find these cleaner, more convenient. You get a very nice point on them, or you can dull them. They're exactly the same. There's no difference to me really between a wooden pencil and one that's in this clutch. The 2mm lead is the same. You can do exactly the same things with them. It's just a case of what you prefer. These are cheaper than these are, but then you buy all the leads you've got. That will keep you going for a very long time. So if you're planning on doing a lot of tonal drawing, this is a good system, but this is an equally good system for less money. So next up, mechanical pencils. Here's a range of some mechanical pencils. That's another clutch there. That's Mitsubishi High Unit clutch. There's a Steadler. There's lots of clutches anyway. There's another one here. Caran d'Ache clutch. So most brands will make a clutch as well as a wooden pencil. So back to the mechanicals. It's very much what you like. I like a 0.5mm lead. I can sharpen the tip on it with sandpaper, even though it is a mechanical fine lead. These are used for line drawing, but you can also do a little bit of detail on your tonal drawings with them. So you buy the separate leads. Here's the leads for the Faber-Castell. So the Faber-Castell do a 9717 this is, and that's a 0.7mm lead, slightly wider, but they also do 0.5 and 0.35 is a nice narrow fine lead for fine drawing. So the leads are separate, and you can see they're very fine there. They go into the top. You take the top off there and drop the leads in there, and then they come out at the tip there. You can see them. You don't want them extended very far because they'll break, because they're very fine. So 0.35 is a very fine one. The finest lead you'll find is the Pentel Orange, I think, from experience. And it's 0.2 is the narrowest it comes in. Let me see if I've got one here. Yeah, there's a pink one. And they come in all different colours. And that lead only just extends beyond the tip. They break quite easily, these Pentel Oranges. I've got lots of them. I like them, but they do break. And they come in a range of different widths as well. So that's a 0.2, 0.3, 0.5 and so on. I think a 0.7 they maybe go up to. There's different colours, as you can see. They all come in different kind of nice looking pencil. Bit of a slippy grip on it, and that's one of the things that is of interest to people, is the grip. I like the Rotring 600. It's a great pencil. It's got a heavy weight in the barrel. It's the same mechanism. I can sharpen the tip on the 0.5. I can get that in different grades as well. It's got this nice grip here and this heavy weight in the barrel. Get that in different colours. There's also, they do the That's a 0.7, that's a rotary 800. It's got a retractable tip there, which is good for travel. Also a nice pencil, same grip. Other pencils, there's like the Kuratoga, bit of a novelty pencil. I find this is another pro use, I don't know what that is. I've got lots of different ones. I find these a little bit broad here for me. This is much narrower, and it's a case of what suits your hand. These are quite expensive, the Rotring pencils. They're maybe about £50, but these are maybe 20, I don't know. But if you invest in a good set of something that you're happy with, got the grade there on the top, so you can set it for whatever you've got in there. That's a H grade. It's got an eraser in the top hidden. So there's also the Rotring Rapid Pro, similar, a little bit broader on the barrel. And then there's lots of lower cost options as well. Rotring Ticky is a good old standard pencil. Got this slightly rubberized grip, which is quite good. And there's all these different ones. That's a Pentel Orange, got quite a nice grip, much lighter in the barrel if you prefer a lighter pencil, but a bit chunkier here. So very much it's down to you what you like. That's another Faber-Castell, that's a Vario, and that you can have as a hard or soft setting here. Hard that way, soft that way. That means that this tip here, when you press down, retracts when it's on soft. So if you're heavy-handed, you can't press or indent on the paper. It's a bit of a novelty pencil. Bit slippy on the barrel here. That's one of the design faults maybe with that. It doesn't bother me, but it bothers some people. So it's about finding a pencil that you like, really. And that's the pencils that I use for most of my drawing. Lots of them. I don't really use that many of them. I just actually use these 6H2B. I sometimes use my clutch pencils for convenience when I'm travelling, to take extra leads and that I don't break them the same, because I can completely retract the leads in them, whereas these tend to get broken sometimes when I'm travelling, so they're quite good for that. And the other pencils that I often get asked about that I collect are these little sort of Victorian and old pencils that are propelling pencils mostly, so they retract like that. So it's a really neat little dinky pencil. It's got a lovely little stone in the tip there, which unscrews, and you can store leads inside them. A lot of these, you can find antique pencils on eBay and various places. The only thing is you have to make sure it's in working order, because a lot of them don't work. The mechanism doesn't work, and the grip, and the lead goes in the end there, and it's only short, the lead, you break it. And they're different widths, you know, so they're slightly off widths, but you can usually find a lead that fits them. This bigger one here, this brass one, has got a 0.2mm in, so it's the same as that, but you have to break it and it goes in that end. This is a Candy Twist silver pencil, same thing. It's a little bit bent there, but it's still very usable. And so I use them a lot just because they're nice things to have. They look nice and they feel nice and they're good. One last thing, if you're using the wooden pencils, obviously when they wear down, you get a lot more lead out of these, because you can go right down to the last bit. But if you use an extender, I buy these again, these are old antique things. You can put your very short pencil, which is a bit too short to draw with, into an extender, and you can use it pretty much to the same length as the clutch pencil. So that's it, that's my pencils.